If it's happening in Burbank, you want to know, so tune in to the Mike and Roy Show.
And now,
Mike and Roy.
Hello, Burbankers, and welcome back to the Mike and Roy Show. Tonight we have a very special guest and good friend, David Spell, who has done so many great things in our community. And our
Hi, Mike.
Our kids, hi Roy. Our kids, my daughter, David's son, and Roy's daughter, all started kindergarten together and have gone through Burbank schools. And so it's great to have you.
Wow.
And tonight we want to talk about your trip to Sacramento.
Yes, Mr. Spell goes to
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Mr. Spell goes to Sacramento.
Starring Jimmy Stewart.
With the FPPC and a complaint you filed on behalf of our whole community, and we really appreciate you for doing that. And go back to the beginning.
How did we get here?
Oh man, Measure B. So everybody's familiar with Measure B, and it was to expand the airport, and it was back in 2016 election. And great turnout. Everybody voted for it, right? How could you miss this if you were living and breathing in Burbank? But what happened was the day after the airport, and as many people know, we weren't really for Measure B. I think it wasn't really an airport issue, to be honest with you. It was more the process and how it was all being handled and some of the concerns that we discovered with Next Gen, etc. So we were against it, and we were the
and are at this point.
right. We're still dealing with all that stuff. But so what happened was the day after the election, I went online to see, well, who paid for all those flyers? Because this entire town was blanketed with those flyers. And I just wanted to know. It was just a curiosity. So I went and I found a $50,000 donation.
The mailers, right?
The mailers, right. There's these glossy mailers, which I wish I brought one. But anyway, I wanted to make sure and know who had paid for this. And it was the BHA. It was the Burbank Hospitality Association. And I looked up the address, and lo and behold, the address is City Hall. And so that was like, red alert. So lots of discovery, and I'll try to make this as short as possible. Basically, the BHA is a public-private partnership between the city of Burbank and some of the hotels in Burbank. And they collect a fee when you stay at their hotels, and that is put into the city coffers and administered by the city. And it is against the law to use public funds for a campaign. In other words, you can do an information thing, but you can't ask for an affirmative or negative vote on something. That is illegal. So we, Greg Sousa and Amanda Beers-Melcher and I did a bunch of research, and then I did the complaint. I filed the complaint on everyone's behalf. We also wrote letters to the District Attorney of Los Angeles, and who else? I guess that. We went to city council meetings.
Yeah, we went to a lot.
I'm going to interrupt here, David.
Sure,
I think there's a real lesson to be learned here, and I know you're a very polite person, and Mike and I try to live up to your standards. But what's a takeaway here before we go on more with the story? But we went to city council. You spoke very eloquently about that. We're not here to beat up on anybody.
Right.
But what do we as a community to try to? We don't want this to happen again, and it's always tempting for people to use certain funds for certain things, for public monies, to forward their agenda. We've seen variants of that in a number of elections in Burbank.
And it's happened again since Measure B.
And it rhymes with B, the letter B almost. But what do you were there really boots on the ground with that whole thing. What do you think's a takeaway? What would you advise the community to be aware of, and what you went through with the lack of action from certain people at City Hall?
Right. Well, the takeaway is that there's nothing preventing someone from doing this again right now. Unfortunately, the FPPC, which is the Fair Political Practices Commission, they only have so much power. They can only, enforce very specific parts of the law when it comes to this stuff. So reporting, like if you didn't cross that I and dot that T, etc. Those kind of things one would almost say a technicality. There's a lot of that they do. And then, but they don't have the power to actually go after corruption like this.
That's the DA, right?
Right, the DA should be doing it, and we did get a letter back from the DA saying these weren't public funds and they didn't break the law. Well, one of the letters said that. One of the other letters said they did break the law, the Brown Act. So the takeaway is that we really need to help the FPPC get more power. And while I was there at the hearing, they submitted a letter and approved a letter to go to the legislature. So it just happened to be the day that I was there in this case. And the commissioners even said this is the exact kind of case that we want to prosecute and go after in the future. So we will have a call to action on my website and more information. BurbankViewpoints.com. And I'll have an article up on this and kind of some guidance with some phone numbers and email and some examples that you can do. And actually the time is right now to act on this because that letter just went out last Thursday.
So we can all write letters to our assemblyman and our state senator.
Member Laura Friedman. Assembly member
yes.
Laura Friedman and
Anthony
Senator Anthony Portantino.
Great.
So I will have all that information on the website.
Great.
We're
Tell me
going to
this.
say Burbank neighborhoods too.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
I'm driving to work the other day. When you were in Sacramento for that hearing, with the FPPC on your Measure B complaint, and it was over 2 years after you had filed the complaint, right?
26 months.
Finally, and you're there. I'm driving to work. Just so proud that you're representing our community up there in Sacramento, on this. Can you just tell us a little bit about how that was for you and how it went and the result of the hearing?
It was really exciting to go. I had been looking forward to it. There were other hearings two other hearings that I wasn't informed about, and it was really disappointing that I wasn't able to attend those or at least write a letter and even know that the hearings were going on. So that was unfortunate, but they did reach out to me for this hearing. I went. I was very excited. Stayed the night in Sacramento and did a little couple of sites that day and checked it out. But it was really great. It's great to see our great state. There's so many people on social media that really rail against California, and I'm a native Californian. I'm really proud to be from here. And when you go to Sacramento and you see all that up there, it really reminds you that this is my government. And we have to act on these things ourselves. No one's going to do this for us, and luckily we have the FPPC, and luckily we can do something about this.
Yeah,
and
they ruled in your favor, right?
They did. It was not the actual result I was hoping for, because I went up there to say, hey, this isn't enough. You gotta really nail them. But I will say, grand total of this whole thing was $16,500 between the two different people that were respondents, right? The fines. So hey, it did hit him a little bit. In the grand scheme of things, it was a great investment for the Committee for Yes on Measure B because this is a $1 billion project, and they were able to use public funds to pay for the advertising.
Wait, I thought they said 400 million.
Well, it was
1.4 billion.
And the impact on our community that's going to have an expansion of the airport is. They should be actually paying for that, I think.
Well,
and I will say the commission. Just one other thing.
Yeah,
the commissioners were on our side.
Mm-hmm.
They thought more than one of them spoke out, and I think Commissioner Hayward said this was corrupt. It stinks. They were cheating. And that was the moment I felt best because all through these 26 months, we get a letter from the DA saying no. Well, the commission disagrees with the DA.
Well, and during that time, we would go to city council meetings and try to, engage our city council on this. And you were bringing so much great information. And the message we got from our own city council was that, we don't want to deal with it. We'll let the FPPC deal with it.
Right.
I think now moving forward, we need the support of our city council.
We do.
And in future elections, we really need to keep an eye on where the money's coming from, and is it legal money? Because as residents, we don't have a big coffer to put behind a campaign, and so we really need to level that playing field and keep things on the up and up.
It's not even close. The scales are way out of whack. I mean, we don't have the resources that these developers and business people, and listen, I'm not saying they're bad people. They do good works for our city, but they've got to play by the rules. And I was really encouraged by that meeting, and it really is up to us. That's the takeaway. We have to stay involved, stay awake, stay alert. And I think one of the things that I'd like to do is just educate people on how to do this, because I learned a bunch doing this.
Well,
I learned a lot.
Let's make sure we let everybody know to go to Burbank Viewpoints.
Correct. Yeah.
And your blog and get a lot of good information there. And the Mike and Roy Show will keep checking in with you and getting updates.
I would hope going forward that it's not exclusively up to the citizens to take time off work, buy a plane ticket, meals, a hotel. And we've seen how you party. I mean, your bill in Sacramento must. You're going to submit that to the BHA. They'll pick it up, I'm sure. But
Sure.
50,000 is nothing to them.
Right.
But seriously, shouldn't somebody be leaving the light on at City Hall so it doesn't come down? This started with a cell tower going up on a church in a residential neighborhood. That's how Save Burbank started. They go way back, really old school. But that was citizens that came. We hired a lawyer, right, did all this thing, and then spoon-fed the city council. No offense to them, but that's really what it took. The majority of them didn't want anything to do with the stand in a way to help us. Here we are again.
Yeah.
There's a real disturbing pattern to me that people like you, are doing the lion's share of protecting the community against.
I wish.
Well,
I wish I could protect the community.
well, okay, but what you did, I mean, it was really amazing. I hope that you inspire people at City Hall. You know, and obviously the
And
community,
people watch.
you've already inspired the community. I hope you inspire our elected officials to get on board and keep the antenna on for this kind of stuff. So we don't get, I mean, this is pretty embarrassing, man. I mean, front page news in the Burbank Leader. Yes, on Measure B committee, fined $500,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's public money.
Public money.
You
So
know, it's-
this is not good optics for the city.
No.
We want to avoid this going forward.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Check out Burbank Viewpoints
And
and
Save Burbank Neighborhoods
Save
Facebook
Burbank
page. We're going to
Neighborhoods.
post this info also, like
Yeah.
David's.
We're gonna get it out
website.
there, and you'll be
That's
able to
right.
find the information.
thank you to our pal David Spell, and we'll see you next time
On the Mike and Roy Show.
Mike and Roy.